Let's pick up exactly where we left off in the last video, and let's start exploring some of the different blocks that we can use inside of Notion. So the first type of block that we talked about already, which is the most basic block out there, is just a text block. And again, I'm going to generate some text here because there are some things that we haven't talked about when it comes to this block. First of all, if I highlight a piece of text, I can actually add different things to it. I can style it how you would be, used to from other tools as well. So for example, I can add a link here. I can just link to my homepage, do that quickly, .com. And now this is actually linked. So if I click on it like this, I will actually get redirected to my website. Now, next thing we can do is we can just make the text bold, as you're probably used to as well. We can also make the text italicized. We can underline the text. So now you have this little underline. Next up, we also have the option to do a strike through. You probably don't use this too much, but the option is there for you. And what you can also do is you can turn the text into a code block. So that's this one right here. This makes it kind of stand out if you're writing some technical documentation, for example. You probably want to make certain parts of the text stand out. If you have like some code snippets in there, that's a great option. The last option I want to talk about is the option to color your text as well. So if I highlight a piece of text here and I go to this little A over here, I can choose a color. So for example, I could choose red as the color, and now the text is red. And the same also works for background colors. So you can also give your content background colors. It's also the same option over here. Choose red again, and now you have a background colored text. So this is how flexible Notion is. Again, these are the type of options that you're probably used to from other text editing software as well. So it's great to have those in Notion as well. Next are headings, and we talked about those already as well. We have the 3 different heading types. So we have heading 1, we have heading 2, and we have heading 3. And these are like the different sizes. So heading 1 is the biggest. H1, we can do an H2, so I can just show you, and then an H3. And again, I'm using the shortcut with the / command to type this in. You'll get used to that very quickly because that's like the most essential part of using Notion. So yeah, makes working with Notion much quicker. And you see how the sizes are different. This is the largest one, the second largest one, and the third largest one. And this allows you to create visual hierarchy in your content inside of Notion, which also is a great feature. Now, again, as this is also text, basically, you can still, make this bold, you can italicize it, you can underline it, and all the other things that you could do with the normal text blocks as well. Next, we have bullet points and checklists, and these are, again, features that you probably are very used to from other tools. You can add a bulleted list by typing in the / command and then typing in bulleted, and then it will pop up already. So do it like that, and then you can just type in your text. So I should say list item 1. And if I press enter, it actually goes to the next line, just as you probably expect. So I say list item 2. And I can also, if I press the shift button or like the tab button, I can make the make the bullet list indent, so that I can actually again create some hierarchy just as I used to from other tools. There's also the option to add ordered lists. So if I type in / and then type in like numbered list, I'll have a numbered list with items. So I'll have one item, I'll have another item, and so on. And again, they also allow you to indent. So in this case, you'd have a second hierarchy. So call it test 1, and then it will go from A to Z basically, instead of going from 1 to infinity. So this allows you again to create ordered lists inside of Notion. The last block in this category is the checkbox, and this is also very easy to add, and it is great for things like to-do lists. So you could have a to-do 1, you could have a to-do 2, and you can actually check these off. So if I press on this button, it'll act as a button and it will check off the item. You'll see it will be, you have this little strike through, and it will be a bit blurred out. So great if you have to-do lists inside of Notion, and sometimes like checklists and things like this is what you can use this for. You can also add all types of media files to Notion. So we saw the images already, but I want to show you something there as well, because you can not only upload one from your computer, but you can also embed a link. So if you have an image on a website, you can embed the link here to show it inside of Notion. And you can also use the integration that Notion has with Unsplash, which allows you to search through millions of different stock photos. So I could search for, I don't know, like home, for example, and pick any of the pictures here and add it directly to my Notion workspace. This also works for videos. So if I type /video, I can actually embed videos from YouTube, Vimeo, and so on. I could also actually upload a video from my hard drive. All of this works. So let me just go to YouTube. I've got my YouTube channel open. And if I just copy the link to one of my YouTube videos and go back into Notion, paste the link here, I will be able to embed this video inside my Notion page. And I can also play the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Like this. So this works exactly like you would expect it to, and it's a great way to enhance your documents in Notion as well. And lastly, you can also do this with audio files. So if you type in /audio, you can upload audio files, and you can also embed links to files of audio that are online. You can also embed stuff like Spotify or SoundCloud in here, but that's beyond the scope of this video. Let me just quickly show you how this would look. So I've got an audio file set up here as well. So this little sound demo. And if it's uploaded, it will actually be embedded as a playable audio. So if I click this, you'll hear that the audio actually plays. And you can use that if you work a lot with audio. Maybe you're like a producer or a musician. Maybe that's something that is helpful in those types of scenarios and for those types of professions. Toggles are a great way to hide content in your Notion workspace. So if you want to have a clean look, or you want to create like an FAQ section, toggles are the way to go. So to create a toggle, type in /toggle. And you'll see this little like button appear right here, and the text marker. So I can say, just call this like toggle 1. Oops, like this. And now if I expand this, you see that the toggle is currently empty. So let's drag a block in here, like this text. And now the toggle is open, so the text is showing up. But if I click this button again, the toggle will actually hide the text from me. And this is great if you, for example, you're a student and you want to learn for an exam, you have to memorize stuff, and then you want to ask yourself questions. So you create these toggles and put your question in here and put the answer in here. Or again, if you want to create an FAQ section, these are the types of use cases where this is a great feature. Next, you have quote blocks and callouts, which are pretty similar. Quote blocks are basically just quotes. Again, you can put a quote in here. I'm just gonna generate some random text again. So it has this little border on the side, which is supposed to make it look more like a quote. It actually also has the option to make it larger. So you can make this text a bit larger if you actually do want to use this for a quote. And just like all of the other elements, you can also adjust the color. So I could say I want the background to be yellow, and then you will have a yellow background. You can also adjust the text in here like you would in other cases. So you can make this bold, for example, and yeah, it works the same as all the other blocks as well. Now the callout is basically pretty similar. It just has this little icon instead of the bar over here, and this is great for like small tips or like notices and like important information that you want to add to your documents to kind of break up large sections of text and to make things more interesting. So that's a great choice for these use cases. Again, they're pretty similar, so you can add content into both of them. And what's also great is that you can actually nest content. So I could say, I have this random text here again, and now I can also add other content to this callout. So I could say, well, why not put the audio file in here? So I can add this to the block. And now the audio file is actually part of the callout. And I could also do this with the toggle, so like that. And everything still works exactly like it's supposed to, so nothing changes. You can still play the sound. Everything is still working correctly, just now inside of this callout block. If you want to add structured data to your post, or you want to visualize some sort of data in a table format, Notion has the simple table feature, which is just a really simple table, as the name suggests, that you can use inside of your documents as well. And you can easily add new columns and new rows in here like this. So just click on the plus button and click into any of the fields to add content to them. Now you have additional options, which are to add a header column and a header row. So this will actually add headers, so you can actually add descriptions to what these columns and rows actually mean. So again, great way to visualize some data. Maybe if you're writing some scientific papers or stuff like that, that could be a great option in these cases. Now for the next block I want to demonstrate, I'm actually going to go up to the top of the page because this will be the table of contents block. And this will just gives you a really nice overview of all the different topics that are covered in a document. So that's great if you have a really complicated or long form piece of content with lots of different sections on different topics, for example, in your knowledge base or like in your help center for your company. Then this is great because it auto generates this table of contents based on your headings. And you also see that it respects the order of these headings. So they will show up in the same order that they are in the text. So you see this is a heading is up here. And then the Notion blocks heading is down here. And then these H1, H2, H3s, they are actually down here. And you also see that it kind of respects the hierarchy of these headings. So the H1 is the top level heading, and then the H2 and H3 are nested inside of that heading. And that allows you to create really great structures and gives you a nice overview of your entire document automatically. All right, so we're almost done with all these elements. Just two more to go. The first one is just really simple. It's just a divider. Which is just like a vertical line that allows you to basically divide content into multiple pieces and to make things more readable. So really simple, nothing else to say here. And then lastly, we have the link to page. And this allows you to add links to your page. So to link to other pages in your workspace from the page that you're currently on. And again, this is one of these really powerful features that Notion has, which really allows you to interconnect your different pages. So for example, if you have a help center inside of Notion, again, which is one of the most common use cases for Notion, you might want to link to a different help center article to explain something in a bit more detail that you can't cover in full in this current article or page. So that's a great use case for these links. And to add this, just press enter. And then you can actually link to any of the pages that you have in your workspace. We currently don't have that many pages, so we don't have that many options. So you see, we just have the options over here. We could just link to this task list that Notion generates for us automatically. And now if I click on this, you see we get redirected to the task list, which Notion has created for us. So we're done with the Notion blocks for now, but you can also embed lots of third-party tools inside of Notion to make your Notion workspace really collaborative. And that's what we're going to discover in the next video.